Hello, I'm Glenn Thompson. Good to see you and welcome to TV Cruise Channel's Guide to Luxury Cruising. Now, in a world where more and more holidaymakers are choosing to take a cruise, it's no surprise that some are looking for that next step up. So how do you fancy the sound of a 5 or even 6-star cruise experience? Think butler service, fine dining, suite accommodation and once-in-a-lifetime shore excursions. I'm there now. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, here to share her experience of life on board some of the most luxurious ships at sea is Jane Archer, cruise journalist for the Daily Telegraph. Jane, lovely to see you again. Thanks for coming in to Cruise TV. Now, you've had your fair share of luxury cruising. In fact, you've just come off of a ship of, you've described one of the best experiences.
It is, yes. Well, Regent Seven Seas Cruises calls it the world's most luxurious cruise ship. Yes, and I just got off it.
And what was it like? Tell us.
It was beautiful, actually. Really, really lovely. The decor, the attention to detail, the quality of the materials used in building that ship is just amazing.
Just those finishing touches, really.
Wonderful,
isn't it?
yes, it is, and it is the detail in it. You look at certain areas and you think, oh, you know, someone else wouldn't have bothered with that, but they proper finish on it, and it really does stand out. You notice it.
Now, most folk, when they go on a cruise, assume that it is going to be a luxury experience, but is that always the case?
No, it's not. I mean, I liken it a bit to Animal Farm because I always say, well, yes, every cruise ship is luxurious, except some are more luxurious than others. So just like in the animals. But there are some much higher level of luxury, for sure, yes. So
what to you then defines luxury cruising as opposed to just maybe standard cruising?
There's all sorts of bits come together. I don't think there's any one thing you can say. It is different things to different people, and for me, it's a mixture of things. As I say, it's having space. It's having peace, it's having the personal service, somebody who knows your name, it's intuitive service.
So it's the traditional luxury, isn't it?
It is traditional luxury, but in a way it's more than that. It's not the dressing up, it's not having to, you know, sort of put on your fine gowns and all the rest of it. It's not that kind of luxury, but it's an intuitive service. It's somebody there who knows what you want almost before you've decided you want it, and that's very, very special. And as I say, having the space is just lovely. It really is nice.
Are you paying a lot extra for that luxury though?
Obviously it's not going to come cheap, but if you compare prices, a luxury cruise ship that includes an awful lot more in the price than, say, one of the mass market ships, it can sort of balance itself out. I'm not going to say it'll be that much cheaper, but it can certainly balance itself out because, for instance, if you go on a Regent ship, all your drinks are included in the price, all your gratuities are included in the price, your excursions are included in the price. They will Wi-Fi, there's nothing to pay for your Wi-Fi. So you add up all of those things which you're going to pay as extras on a lot of the other ships, and you end up with quite a big bill. Okay, Jane, here's the dilemma. All right, I've never been on a cruise before. I'm sitting down on my computer, or I've gone into the travel agents, got all the brochures, got onto the web page. I'm thinking to myself, I want a luxury cruise. Where on earth do I start looking? There's a question. How long have you got? Well, where's a good starting point? One of the first things you've got to decide, of course, is where you want to cruise. Right, so which part of the world do you want to cruise in? And that'll make a bit of a difference as to where you're going to start. Taking the Mediterranean cruise. Okay, let's start with the Mediterranean. That's really not a good place to start because everyone's in the Mediterranean in the summer. Okay. So it doesn't narrow it down too much. So let's go with the size. So luxury ships come in a variety of sizes. The biggest one is Crystal Cruises. Their ship is round figures 1,000 passengers. But it's a very big ship, so 1,000 passengers on a very big ship actually doesn't feel at all crowded. Right. Your smallest one, you're talking about 100 passengers. Oh wow! As small as that. You could even go down to 50 passengers if you were to go with Hebridean Island Cruises, which is Hebridean Princess. That's the ship that the Queen has chartered a couple of times. That truly is a family affair, and then. That's 50 passengers, absolutely. So you know everybody the time you come off holiday. Yes, indeed. And it's a lovely family atmosphere, like you say. Not at all stuffy, great fun. All of these ones are great fun. Obviously, you will find sort of like-minded people. You won't necessarily be friends with every single person, but there are little groups of people that come together. and you have a fantastic time.
So for somebody like myself then, who's not actually been on a cruise yet, I'm hoping to very soon, I like a fairly quiet holiday. Would you say a smaller ship then for me?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, something, yes, smaller, more luxurious maybe, that is going to take you to some of the destinations, the smaller ports that the big ships can't get into. I mean, that's another thing to bear in mind, of course, is that the big ships can't get into every single port because of the size, so the smaller ships can get into the smaller ports. And there are some lovely little places that you can go to in the Greek islands, down the coast of Croatia, that these little ones can go into.
Give me a few names then of luxury cruise liners. What should I be looking out for?
Crystal Cruises, as I say, they're the ones with their ship is, as I say, around about 1,000 passengers. Regent Seven Seas Cruises I've also already mentioned. You've got Silver Sea, you've got Seabourn, you've got Sea Dream Yacht Club. They've got 2 ships which actually are more like yachts. They call them yachts, and they are really more like yachts. You're talking of 112 passengers on each of those. Hebridean Island Cruises, and there's another one called Hapag-Lloyd Cruises, which caters mostly for the German market. Most of the passengers on board are German, but they are what they call international cruises, and more English-speaking people are going on. It's Europa 2. It's a fabulous ship. It's absolutely beautiful, really, really beautiful. A much more sort of minimalist, Scandinavian style, big ceilings, feeling of space. Beautifully done, absolutely beautifully done. And there you're talking of about 540 passengers.
Wow. And I guess the size of the ship depends on where you can actually, dock and go in the port of call.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Really
so you get the very small ones, and that you don't necessarily have to dock. You can always tender ashore. You can tender with the big ones, but if you can imagine trying to tender with several thousand people, whereas if you're tendering with just 112 passengers or even sort of 400, makes life an awful lot easier.
Just very quickly, if you're going on a luxury cruise, do you have to pay things like gratuities, service charges, tips, that sort of thing?
It's mostly all included, yes. Yeah. I'm just trying to remember all of the ones I just mentioned, but I'm pretty sure with every one that I've just mentioned, the gratuities, tips, etc. are all included in the price.
OK, you've been on lots of cruises, as we've established, yes. Luxury cruises. Do you have a favourite?
I do.
Go on.
No.
Very diplomatic. If the ships are smaller, does that mean they don't have many facilities on board if you've got a smaller ship?
It stands to reason, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if the ship is that much smaller, you can't have loads of facilities on there. But that's not the people who are going on these are not wanting those facilities either. If they want the facilities, they'll take the family on the bigger ships. This is what I've found actually, which is very interesting. So you'll get couples who go on the 5-star, 6-star ships. When they are couples, they want that more luxurious experience. But if they're taking their family, then they will go on one of the bigger ships because there are the facilities there for the families. So it works out as a very nice balance. But coming back to your question, no, of course you can't get all the facilities on there. I mean, it stands to reason. But that doesn't mean to say
sure.
that that you're stinted in any way, because the cabins usually are much bigger. I mean, they'll tick me off because really they are suites. They are much more suites in terms of the size.
Sure. Let's talk about one of my favourite things. Dining.
I thought it might be.
How did you know I was going to say that? Is it showing?
No.
What about the fine dining on board luxury cruises? Are you going to get top-notch food?
Yes, it is a little bit a step above. Yes, absolutely. And they also have specialty restaurants as well. And again, I'd say that's probably a step above again. Again, it makes sense, doesn't it? You've got fewer people to cater for. It's a lot easier
sure.
to provide really good food. If you've got to feed 3,000 people at once, something is going to give. If you've only got to feed 400, stands to reason it's an awful lot easier.
Yeah, you're going to get a better service all round, aren't you? Let's talk about the cabins then. I mean, again,
the suites.
We're talking suites, aren't we?
We are talking suites, yes.
So cabins are out on luxury cruising,
absolutely.
And suites are in.
Suites are in. Okay. Yes. They're not necessarily all entirely suites, but they like to call them suites. Okay. And they are that much bigger.
Spacious, luxurious.
They are spacious. Yes. A lot of the time, the one I've just been on, for instance, and this is not unusual, you do have a walk-in wardrobe, which is lovely. Really nice to have a walk-in wardrobe, and So again, it adds to the space. You haven't got all of your stuff lying around in the cabin because you can all just shovel it into the wardrobe. Big bathrooms, 2 sinks, a separate shower, bathtub.
And are we talking ocean views? Are we talking balconies on these luxury
Yes,
liners?
yes, yeah. I mean, some of them just have an ocean view, but more and more these days, they are all suite, all balcony. So that means you haven't got any inside cabins either. So everyone is a room with a view, and most of the time they will have a balcony as well. Yeah.
We'll talk about the entertainment on luxury cruising, because of course entertainment on many cruise ships, a lot of folks sort of think, is it that good? Is it brilliant? Is it not as good as it could be? We'll talk about luxury cruising entertainment very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Our guide to luxury cruising with Jane continues in just a few moments after this quick break. Stay with us. Hello, welcome back to TV Cruise Channel's Guide to Luxury Cruising, and Jane Archer is still with me. Let's talk about the passenger and crew ratio. How does it fare on a luxury cruise liner?
Well, obviously,
do you have more crew?
Yes, yes. I mean, you're talking of it's not quite, but you are getting closer to a 1-to-1 kind of ratio in terms
Brilliant.
of yes, yeah.
So really, it's personal service.
Absolutely, it is very much personal service, and there are certain luxury cruise lines, the real ultra luxury ones, if you like, and the crew are tasked to get to know every passenger by name within a couple of days of embarkation, which is pretty tough going, but they do it. They're amazing. They are absolutely amazing. How they remember things, I do not know. I won't remember your name tomorrow, but they will.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks, Jane. Love you too.
But I can actually bump into crew that I've met 6 months prior, and they will remember.
And they remember your name.
Yes, they will remember. They know you, and they will remember your name. It's just extraordinary how they do it.
Fantastic. Jane, give us a little idea on entertainment. What sort of things can we see and experience on board a typical luxury cruise?
Well, on the luxury cruise ships, the entertainment does tend to be a little bit more low-key than it is on the larger ships, obviously because they don't have the space. It's not going to be the big lavish production shows that you get. It's more of a song and dance kind of thing. They might have individual performers, singers, guitarists, whatever it might be. And then in the lounges, they'll have live bands playing as well. So there is a nice mix, definitely. But as I say, it's not going to be the big musicals.
Who is a luxury cruise best suited to, do you think? Somebody with money, or can you save up for it? I mean,
well, absolutely. Why not? Why not? I mean, yes, it's a lot of people who go on these are people who have very, very deep pockets. Of course they do. But a lot of them equally are people who have saved. They want that very, very special experience. And they may save all year to go on this, but they want the very best. Once they're going, they want the very, very best whilst they're there. And they are very ordinary people, if I dare use that term. I mean, these are not celebrities and things like this. This is you and me who are going on these cruise ships. It's suited to all sorts. Not really families. Some of them do take families, and some of them do have some very low-key sort of children's, not really entertainment as such, but somebody to look after the children. But essentially, we are talking for couples here.
Would you say it's for veteran cruisers, Jane, looking for that next step up maybe on the cruise ladder?
A lot of them will be, yes. So a lot of them will have done bigger ships and have enjoyed the bigger ships, but then want to move on to something else. And in a way, this is the thing you would move into. A lot of them may be people who have stayed in very, very high-class hotels on land and have spotted what there is at sea. And let's face it, I mean, the advantage is you get all of the luxury, you get everything that goes with it, but you also go to all these fantastic different destinations as well.
And what about luxury cruising for a single passenger? Would it suit somebody who wants to just go off on their own?
No reason why not at all. The only thing is that it can be quite expensive because there would be a supplement to pay. I think I can safely say that I very, very rarely see any sort of deals where there's no single supplement. So it can be quite expensive.
You must have seen the world of luxury cruising evolve over the years. Where do you see it going next then, do you think?
It's just going to get better and better, really. I mean, they're just going to continue
How long's a piece of string?
Well, exactly. I mean, having seen the world's most luxurious ship, yes, it's absolutely beautiful. But I'm sure somebody will come along and do something even better than that. And it may be that the suites are bigger. It might be that the facilities that they put in the suites are even better. It might be who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? But somebody will come along and do something even more luxurious.
So give us a little flavour then. You get on board the ship. Are you escorted to your room? You're taken to your room?
Some of them do, and some of them don't. I mean, it just varies. Actually, funnily enough, more often than not these days, you find your own way to your suite. To your suite. But very soon afterwards, somebody will be there to greet you. They will come in and see you and make sure you know where everything is in your suite, how to work things. One of the most difficult things I find is often switching out lights. I do wish they wouldn't make them
Hidden
quite so
light
complicated. Hotels exactly the same. You can spend an awful lot of time in hotel rooms and in suites trying to switch off that last light which you just can't find the switch for. So it's very handy. The crew will come round and they will show you how all of these things work. Obviously, they will make themselves available if you need to get in touch with me. If you have a butler, he will come along and he will explain his duties, what he will do. A lot of them will unpack your suitcase if you wish it to be done. And of course, at the end of the cruise, they will pack it as well, hang up your clothes, shine your shoes, all this sort of thing.
Jane, do they all come with a butler service?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it depends on the category of suite that you get. But obviously, the higher up it is, yes, then you get the butler.
Okay. I'm just lost in the complexity, if you like, of the suite. I mean, I just would love to see some photographs. In fact, we'll see some pictures of the suites, I'm sure. But just taking myself inside there, is it wooden? Is it a sort of wooden decor? The doors wooden? I mean, I'm thinking back to sort of maybe Titanic times, but
yes, not really. Although, I mean, it depends. But more often, it's a wood effect, and there is because of safety regulations, there is a limit to how much actual wood can be in certain areas of a ship, and it's all got to be very carefully treated and so on and so on. And some ships will go for very much more of a Scandinavian wood effect, if you know what I mean. A lot of pine, light colours. A lot of them go for a darker style, if you like, but with flowing curtains and super soft sofas, lots of cushions. It's stunning. It really is. And of course, marble, some marble, stone, beautiful finishes, as I say, just absolutely lovely. There's the ship I just got off, the Regent Seven Seas Explorer. I was standing talking to somebody in the library and I looked down and the floor is actually leather.
Wow, leather floor?
A leather floor. Now, I have to say, I think that was the biggest take home for me. It really was.
Make sure you take your heels off.
Wonderful, yes. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Whatever you do. What about excursions then? Let's talk about things to do when you're on the seas and you want to stop off at ports of calls. What about typical excursions are we talking about?
A lot of them are the typical excursions actually will be kind of the typical excursions you would do with the big cruise ships, to be honest. But they would have smaller groups, obviously, and if they've got lots of different options for you, you might end up going on an excursion with just 20 people or something like that. So it's a bit more of a personal service. A couple of the cruise lines have what they call their signature excursions. So Sea Dream has caviar in the surf. Seabourn also caviar in the surf. So you can be in the water and you're eating caviar and drinking champagne.
That is the height of luxury, isn't it?
It really is, yes. That really is
Brilliant.
Decadent, absolutely decadent. Or else you can go, a lot of them would go shopping with the chef, which is always great fun, and you can go shop. They will take you to a market.
Ring about it, isn't it? Shopping with the chef.
Shopping with the chef.
Shopping
Yes,
with the chef.
Yes, and they will take you to a market and show you how he chooses the produce that he's going to bring back on board and cook that evening.
So he'll cook for you, whatever you want.
Not necessarily, but sometimes. I mean, sometimes you have to sign up and pay for something like that. But he will show you what he's bringing back for the whole ship.
Fantastic.
So this is how I choose my fish. Fish is one of the main things, isn't it? Because you want to buy that fresh. So we go to a fish market and you'll see how he chooses his fish, how he can tell whether it's fresh and this sort of thing.
Wow,
it's great fun. Yeah,
brilliant fun. What would you say to somebody then who still thinks a luxury cruise isn't necessarily for them? How would you talk them into getting on that luxury cruise and choosing that right luxury cruise?
I think the important thing to do is to actually think about where you are comfortable when you go on holiday. If you like going to a big resort, which is, sort of really loud, cheerful, lively, then it's no good me telling you to go on a luxury ship, because that's not going to be for you. But if you like to go to a boutique hotel, for instance, if you like to go to some of the more upmarket London hotels to stay a few nights, if you like to go to Barbados and stay in, let's say, Sandy Lane, or, I mean, there are some very nice swanky hotels in Barbados. If they appeal to you, then absolutely a luxury cruise ship is going to appeal as well, because I would say that a luxury cruise ship can offer you even more. As I say, because it's got these destinations, you can go to all of these places as well. So great, go to the Caribbean, but don't just see Barbados, lovely island, but get on a ship and you will go to all these other little islands as well. And it's just a fantastic way to do it.
Do you know, I think that's what a lot of folks don't realise, is that you do stop off, if you pick the right cruise, at ports of call.
Of course.
You don't just sit on the seas and go there and come back again,
absolutely
do you?
not. Absolutely not. It depends on the itinerary. It depends on the length of the itinerary. But the luxury cruise lines in particular, their cruises will be more port rich, if you like. So it could be there is a destination every single day, so you can be ashore every single day. Over the course of 7 nights, it might be that you have 1 day at sea, but the rest of it is visiting somewhere new. So it just varies. And if the idea of visiting lots of destinations appeals, yes, obviously you've got to pick the itinerary that suits. That's what I like. Personally, I like to go and see lots of places when I'm on a cruise. I mean, it's a fantastic way to do it. You go to sleep, you wake up in the morning. This goes for all cruises, of course. Instead of having to unpack, repack, your ship takes you there, you wake up in the morning, and what a fantastic way to see the world.
You've whetted my appetite. Where is that brochure? Where's that brochure? I want a book. Jane Archer, thanks very much for joining us today on the programme, and thank you for watching. Hopefully we've whetted your appetite for a bit of luxury cruising. I'll see you again next time right here on TV Cruise Channel. Bye.